Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to Sondering Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. It's actually been a while since I posted a quarter deck video, and believe it or not, this is for the end of 2023. It's the fourth quarter decks. What decks did I acquire in the months of October, November, and December? And for those of you that do not know me, my birthday as well as Christmas happens to be in the fourth quarter, so I acquired a lot of decks. So let me zoom in here so we get a closer look. And don't be surprised that this video in the description says part 1, because I'm going to do multiple parts, simply because I have 36 decks. Let me say that again. I have 36 decks to show you. So I'm going to break them down into small little chunks just to make it easy. Just to simplify things. Okay. One of the decks I got for the fourth quarter of 2023. This is Ray Hepburn's Tea Leaf Oracle. This is actually my very first round deck, and I kind of have a crush, a love affair on seeing everyone use this deck, and I was told I could bond with it. Believe it or not, my ancestors have not called for this deck, even though I've had it for months at the time I'm filming this. This is at the very end of March, so I've had this for almost 5 months, 6 months, somewhere around in there, and my ancestors haven't called for it. So the day that they call for the round deck, and I get to use it, that will probably be a very memorable reading. But I do enjoy this deck. The keywords, the phrases and stuff on it, and it doesn't bother me that it's round, despite it being the very first and only deck I have that is round. This was a nice acquirement. Speaking of more unique decks, when it comes to 2023 acquirements, we have the Beloved Dead Oracle. Now, this is a deck that I use only with my ancestors, so unless I want to specifically talk to them about something that they can't just automatically tell me, or for times when the veil is thinnest, like Samhain, I will be using this deck. I purchased this deck and got it before Samhain in 2023, and I used it to do ancestor readings for my ancestors. And the amount of clarity I got off this was fantastic. I love it. Alright, and I do apologize if I'm moving very swiftly, but I'm trying to show you a large number of decks. I also acquired a lot of pip decks, for the most part, for 2023, especially in the fourth quarter. This is the Hocus Pocus Tarot. And what can I say? I did not have a lot of Samhain, Halloween-themed tarot oracle, so this was right up my alley. I did like the, Hocus Pocus. I have seen the second one. Didn't enjoy that quite as much as the first one, but I did love the original movie. So of course, when I was somewhat drawn to this, I was all like, okay, so it's a pip deck I can use, and I purchased this one. And moving right along, speaking of pip decks, here is another one by Inside Editions. This is the Disney's Villain Tarot. Now, oh, and I probably put it upside down. Hold on, let me fix it so you can see all the villains right side up. This is just a fun one. I mean, I'm an 80s baby, and I grew up watching Walt Disney movies. So yes, I am fairly familiar with a lot of the villains in this deck. The fact that it's a quote-unquote pip deck doesn't really bother me quite so much, but it's interesting to see a deck just solely depicted with the villains and the villain aspect going forward, rather than, the heroes, the good guys. Sometimes the villains actually have the more interesting backstory than a hero. You can feel free to argue with me on that one or not. And moving right along, we're going to switch gears completely. Another requirement I got that I did purchase myself. This is Bradley Valentine's Angel Wisdom Tarot. I wanted to make sure I said that right. Now, I utilize this deck. I don't mind this deck. I needed more stuff with angel energy. My ancestors told me I needed it. And as much as that kind of irks me and doesn't want to jive very well, because I prefer to skip over the working with angels part. That's just my own personal preference. I don't mind the angel energy in this deck. I don't mind how it's utilized. Believe it or not, after I got this deck, the only thing that really irks me is the size of the deck. This is a humongous deck. It is not tarot sized at all. It's oracle sized. So it's huge. It's big. And I have very small hands. So for this deck, that's about like my only complaint. And the last deck I have to show you in this portion, part 1, is the Dark Crystal Tarot. Yes, this is another Pip deck. This is one that is very nostalgic for me. I mean, I grew up watching things like The Labyrinth and Dark Crystal as a child. So this is familiar to me. The fact that it's a Pip deck doesn't really bother me whatsoever. And I recognize a lot in the majors, the illustrated portions of this particular deck. And for decks that I acquired in 2023, especially the last portion, there was several decks that I purchased, and the same day I bought them, within hours, I was called to do readings with them. Believe it or not, the Dark Crystal Tarot was one of those. I was literally purchasing it. I got it home, and within an hour, I had to do a reading with it. So I got nudged just to go out to buy a deck because I needed to utilize it at once. It was quite interesting to see, especially when I touched this deck for the first time and flipped through it. I knew exactly what the strength of the deck was. No questions asked. It was very easy, very simple, very straightforward, and I like that about that deck. Alright, my lovelies, that is only part 1. Remember, we still have 30 more decks to go, so apologies for breaking this down into like 6 parts, but that's the easiest thing for me to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in part 2 of my 2023 4th quarter decks. Bye.